Currently, I work with the Environmental Protection Agency, and I'm in the Office of Research and Development. And I'm in the National Center for Environmental Research within that office. I sit in the Ecological Research Program team, as well as the Global Climate Change team, as well as the Fellowship team. So I manage grants and I manage fellowships. After high school, I graduated in 1987, went to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, and I met, at that time, my advisor in biology, the biology department. That was my major, was Doc Roy. He took an interest in me, and I was probably the only marine biologist on campus. He set me up with some summer internships and then helped me with my application process for graduate school. When I first went to Delaware, because Lincoln is an HBCU, and so when I went to Delaware, it was in Lewis, Delaware, on the beach, and it was beach culture, you know, coming from a totally HBCU, African-American focused, and I was thrown into really like transient beach season. I was like, what am I doing? You know, being the only African-American in the whole graduate college, but I had a great advisor there as well, just like an undergrad. So my advising, I was blessed to have two good advisors in my academic career that really helped the whole process. I didn't really have a sense of community as far as any other minorities in this field. There were some out there, but I didn't know at the time. And I didn't really know until after I finished my master's and taught the high school, and I came back for my PhD, and then all of a sudden I got introduced into some of these programs. So I started meeting these people. I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of folks out here, you know, who look like me or share experiences, or maybe on their campuses they kind of going through the same things as far as feeling isolated or those types of things. Your contacts, whatever contacts you make, and you'll have suites of contacts. You'll have like contacts for your profession, and you'll have contacts for support, you know, just life support. You know, you're going to have different people in your life that you're going to need at different times. Some of the contacts will be near peer type folks, your peers, and so you can bounce ideas off of and just have that social network. But you're going to want contacts that are professional, that are ahead of you, to kind of steer you clear of, you know, the potholes and the hurdles that maybe they went through or how they navigated. You know, you definitely need those people. You need champion type people, which are high level people that you may need to go to, like a provost in the university or something, to say, hey, this is the issue, and I don't think I've been treated fairly. So, but you can't be an introvert in those situations. You have to kind of get out there and network. I got my master's at the University of Delaware College of Marine Studies, and that was in '94. And then I taught high school for 5 years in Maryland. And then I returned to the university for my PhD program. When I was finishing in 2003 my PhD, my advisor and I talked about kind of what my next steps were. He knew that I didn't really want to go into academia. I enjoyed the research and the teaching portion of that, but I didn't want to write grants. So as I was finishing and I was sending out resumes and CVs, there was a position at the Delaware Department of Natural Resources, and I was applying for that position and in contact with a human resources person. And she offered one day to forward my CV along to some people that she knew. And so I was like, sure, I'll take any help. And maybe 2 days later, my friend Gina, who I worked with in the lab in Delaware, called me and in the office, and she said, your resume is on my desk. And I said, well, how did it get there? She said, well, Stephanie gave it to me. And it turns out the HR person in Delaware, her relative, was the fellowship team leader at the time, Stephanie Willett. So Stephanie got my CV from her relative and gave it to her boss there in the office. And her boss saw Delaware, you know, on the CV and knew that Gina went there. And so she goes around to Gina's workspace, her cube, and, you know, shows her my CV and says, "Do you know this guy?" And she had a picture of me from a meeting in her queue. She said, "Yeah, that's him right there." So that's how you know. Yeah, it's who you know. That's about 99%. I mean, get your skill set together, but it's keep your contacts and your network.
Okay.
That's important. If you look at people who rise through the corporate ranks and such, they've bounced around, they've gone from, team leader here and CEO of that company and the startup at this company, and then they move over to, and so they have, you look at their resume and they've been everywhere. Just get the experience and figure out how it can add to what you really